I am coming to you from the future. Doing the front axle seals on a TJ Dana 30 is not fun. Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. Today we're doing the front seals on a Jeep TJ front axle. They're pretty similar in many other axles, but there's some Jeeps that have the mid-axle disconnect. In this Jeep TJ, it's a Dana 30 with no mid-axle disconnect, and so both of the seals are on either side of the ring gear and carrier inside the front differential. So in order to get them out, you have to pull off the caliper, the rotor, the hub assembly, and then pull the axles out. You need to pull the axles all the way out so that once you get the differential all the way out, you can sort of knock the seal out from this side with like a long piece of pipe or something. First step is to take off the caliper and mill. Yeah. So that would be loose. I've got an air ratchet I never used. Let's go grab it. And the reason I don't use this air ratchet is it is noisy as all get out. So I can't even really talk to you guys while I'm using it. So once you got the caliper off, you can take the disc brake off. It's not in terrible shape. Not in great shape either. And then it's the hub bolts. It's either 13 or 12, I don't remember. 13. I do love these unit bearings. I really wish the Scout Dana 44 had these. Like, it's just so much easier to service. You take it, throw it in the trash, put the new one on. Yeah, it's a little more expensive, but it's not like bearings are cheap, you know. So it looks like I'm getting the unit bearing and the axle out at the same time because I didn't take this nut off. And that's actually, I don't need to have them separate. So that is the front axle. So I'm gonna go put this somewhere safe. I'm gonna go do the same thing on the other side and then we'll move to the differential. Now we gotta take the differential cover off. I'm betting these are 1/2 inch. Thank goodness they are. Not happy about this. Not happy about this at all. Of course, there was a solution to this, which would have been to let the front suspension droop, and then it'd be away from this pan hardware at least. Might have to do that. Just the pain of having a jacket. That's all right. Let's just do it. This should make it much easier. All right, top bolt, loose, but not all the way. You know the drill. I'll leave that one in there so that when you crack this, you get, you know, it stays on there. It's funny, like in the winter, I don't smell the gear oil as much. Like in the summer, it just reeks, but for some reason, I'm just not feeling weird about it in the winter. All right, well, there's the differential. And I don't think I'm gonna get it out without taking the tie bar off, at least this side, and then holding it up, which is fine. Nah, not gonna happen. Gotta take it off. It's funny, like the knuckle, like this is such a puny knuckle, or puny bolt. Hard to believe that this is like what keeps you from dying. Well, you know what, that oil doesn't look as good as I originally thought. I probably will replace it. There you go. That's what I was looking for. So now I can zip tie this up and out of the way. Get to my differential nice and easy. Those of you guys who watch a lot of car shows know the drill at this point. Leave my mark on the bearings here. So I use D and P for driver and passenger. A bit of a danger that they'll be too similar. Oh my God. Matt, come on. 5/8, really? Maybe they're all 5/8. It just seems so small. Okay. Theoretically, this should not fall out on me. Theoretically. But this thing does have a lot of miles on it, so I'm just being a little cautious. So at this point, there's a couple ways to do it. Usually involves a pry bar, grunting, cursing, and things of that nature. You want to just make sure you don't screw up your bearings. I get to at least inspect my bearings while they're out. Maybe they're in bad shape. Oh, they seem like they're in good shape. Oh yeah, that's starting to stink. Remember I said I couldn't smell the gear oil in the winter? I take it back. Let's see how easy she comes out. Oh my God, she's just falling over there. Okay, that's not what I want. Didn't I just say be careful not to screw up your bearings? Okay, so now that I've got the front differential out, I need to knock out the seals from inside, and I'm gonna do that by punching through the out knuckle, like with a bar. You'll see. Just watch. From this angle, you can kind of see the whole process. Oh, one more thing. I just realized I'm letting the differential hang off the shocks, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just jack it up a little bit and put a jack stand under the pumpkin itself so that it's not hanging off the shocks. Okay, so we're done disassembling the front. I have gone through and checked my bearings on the differential and found that one of them is a little crunchy. Wasn't planning on redoing a bearing, and honestly, the tool I made to take bearings off of differentials last time was very effective and slightly terrifying. So I bit the bullet and spent a few $100s getting a proper bearing removal tool. So I'm gonna first get the new seals in so those who are here for seals can see how those go in, and then at this point in the video, we will do the bearings on the differential. Just like with the rear axle video, I'm going to show you the difference between these two seals. I mean, they're both supposed to work for the front Dana 30 axle, but they're so different. This is one of them, and this is the other one. So it's got like a horn on it. I'm not sure, but I think these are both designed to allow the lip of the axle as you're pushing in to come up and go into position, because it's kind of hard to get leverage from way out on the end of the axle tube, but that's just a guess. And just like before, I'm going to do some silicone on the edge there, some ATV, a thin layer of ATV just to make up for any craggly crags in the housing where this sits. Also, there was like almost like a O-ring's worth of RTV around the seal, which I pulled out, but I don't know what the purpose of that is. So I might try to replicate that. I don't know. I might give up on the puck if it just gets stupid, which I think it's going to. I can use this for this side. I can't use it for both sides, unfortunately. I got a slightly larger thing here. I think that might help get it square. It's driving squarer. I don't know. It's like good, but it's not great. Ow, ow, ow. That's going to work. Thumbs hurt. Ugh. I'm just waiting for that warm feeling, you know, when it fills up the glove with blood. That's the best. Ugh. So again, I've got a set that goes like in 1 millimeter increments. And this is a 59 millimeter. So I bought this bearing kit. This is the offending bearing. It's got some crunch to it. So to take this off and take the race off, this is part of the kit. Comes with a plug. Okay, and I've already gone through and sort of cleaned all the threads from all the Chinesium that's on there. And then I'm gonna put some grease on these threads, just so it's covered. This slips over here. Okay. Right. Then this clamshell goes over here. I'm trying to raise this up till it's right. You kind of want this flying saucer thing to fill the void, so that to keep the clamshells square, you know, so they can't go wonky. And you take this collar and put it over here, tighten that up. Okay. Then you do this down here, and then somehow I need to tighten it. I don't think I have the tools for it, so I can't even get this open. No! This is a spindle socket. Oh, no way. That's amazing. Going loud. loud noises aside, that worked like a charm. So, bearings off. And the shim's look undamaged. So that did exactly what it's supposed to. Perfect. A cheap one on Amazon. I think it's 275 bucks. I've got safety goggles on. I don't know if you saw any of that, or if it got bumped and moved, but I put the differential in, I put the bearing caps on, and torqued them to 60 foot-pounds. Done. Time to assemble the brakes. Now, you guys know I try to shoot you straight, and this is no different. I really struggled on the driver's side on the brake reassembly because I made some pretty dumb mistakes that are lessons I've learned before and have since forgotten because I don't do this every day. I'm going to teach you something that doesn't have anything to do with cars really, but might help your self-confidence. When you see car shows, so I've cleaned the rotor with brake cleaner, and I'm putting this is lesson number 1. I'm going to pretend like I've remembered, is just put a lug nut on one lug, and that'll keep your rotor in place while you're doing this. Okay. When you see in car shows, and they do something like this flawlessly, right? And then they say, we're going to go to the other side, be right back, and then they go sell Z-Max or something else. They're pretending like they haven't done it yet because they already got all of the cursing out and frustration on the other side and worked out all the kinks. So don't get too upset that you're not doing it as smoothly as the car show, quote, car show guys, because they didn't do it smoothly either. Here. On TJ's, the brake grease goes on these rails here. Try not to get any on your rotor, obviously, and don't overdo it, but you want to get some on here. And this is where the calipers slide on, basically. These don't look like they were ever greased. So rusty. I'm gonna pop off. I'm going to take off this caliper here. So to take off the outside brake pad, you got to kind of push it and up to get it off of the. There's two little nipples that sit in these little divots inside the rotor. So you got to push it towards the back and up, and then once that happens, you can kind of shimmy it off. Let's see, there's really nothing left in terms of brake material on this thing. Here's the equivalent of it. So it's time. This piston that pushes the caliper or the brake pads out, it's basically all the way out when all the material's gone like this. So you got to get it all the way back in. And you got to compress the piston. So I leave the pad on and get a big C-clamp like this. And I just work it tight like that. Now you got to make sure you go take the cover off your master cylinder. You're going to be pushing fluid out of it. So if you need to go drain it, siphon some out. Okay, it's working, and I'm gonna have to stop and go siphon more fluid out of my brake booster. But anyway, you want to get it all the way compressed. once that's done, you can pull your, this caliper just pulls right out. Don't inhale that. Next caliper, and this is important. This is one of the things I screwed up on the other side. The CClip, there's two sides to these calipers. I don't know if this is in focus, so I apologize. But there's a CClip side, it's like got a notch, and then there's one with a single tang. It's smooth and then a tang. The smooth and the tang is pointed up, and the CClip is pointed down. And that CClip rides on this lower caliper mount. So assembly of these is basically the opposite of what we did earlier. Kind of get it past there. You got to make sure these seat. You can look inside and see that the tangs are seated. And then you put the C-clip down onto, this thing pivots, so you got to kind of get it so both of them are seated. And then check here, because like this one's not seated. Oh, and then sorry, you got to make sure that there's a thing that rides on the, you got to push this out all the way for it to get into the bolt holes. You got to push these sort of out. It's like an accordion bellows type thing. Okay, so just like with the other side, I can only get one clip in, just fine. The ones I took off only had one clip, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay. Okay, good. Front brake's done. It's dripping out. It's the time to plug it up. That's good. Oh, there's no light on this thing. What the heck? Sorry, guys. That took like a quart and a pump. Last piece of the puzzle. We've got all the differentials filled, front and rear. Just to put this back on so I can steer. That rhymes. Have no fear. Well, that was exhausting. Front TJ axle seals done. Whether they'll work or not, I don't know, but it's done for now. I think if I were to do it again, it would, I would figure out something to basically have a pass-through rod from one seal to the, once I get one seal side in, have a pass-through rod to bang in the other seal side while having some help. It's really a two-man job because you want someone guiding the seal in while somebody's banging on the end of the axle tube. But I don't have two men. I've just got this guy right here. Next up, we're gonna start chasing these engine oil leaks next time on Matt's Garage.